Hello, welcome to Croxley Baptist training video for how to set up the AV equipment for live streaming and recording a service. First of all, we're going to switch everything on, and we start off by switching on the PA desk. Do that before the computer. We want the PA desk to have fully booted up, ready. While you're there, you can be getting out the radio mics that we're going to use. Okay, so the PA desk has booted. As you remember, this boots to the last used settings, and somebody might have fiddled with it. So just to make sure that it's in the right configuration, press this number 12 button for scenes, scroll down to remote service, load, confirm, and there we are, it's reset to how we want it. Okay, so that now will send a bit of PA out to the main speakers, but more importantly, it's sending feeds from 4 sources to the computer to record when we switch the computer on. The sources that we're using are a lectern mic, that's the one right at the front on the stand, the 2 lapel mics for the people sat on the chairs at the front. The baptistry mic is fairly quiet, that's the other stand mic on the right hand side, and it's just there as a fill-in or as a fallback in case one of the other mic fails. So that's all that that's for. Okay, having switched that on, let's have some lights on. Make sure we put the spotlights on, very important for the cameras to work, and a bit of floodlight as well. So we'll just switch the floods on, and lo and behold, let there be light. That looks a bit better. And then we'll switch the computer on and let that boot up to the desktop. While we're doing that, we'll just check with the lapel mics that the batteries are nice and healthy, and if not, we've got some rechargeable batteries there, and make sure that you put the old ones back in to recharge. Okay, that's booted to the desktop, and the program that we're going to use is OBS Studio, which you can see is this little black logo here, and we'll double click to open. And that opened on this left-hand screen. The configuration for this PC, this is a new PC that we got from Amazon as a refurb. It was a good value, but it's got a nice fast processor, and it's got a decent amount of RAM, and I've installed a new video card, so it's quite a powerful machine. And the video card has 3 outputs. We've got the left-hand screen, the center screen, and the invisible screen, which is the projector. Let's put the projector on as well. It's not really just the projector, it is of course this Extron scaler down there which outputs to the projector and also the fold back video screens at the front, so that the people leading the service can see what's happening on the screen as well. Okay, so that's booting up. If we come back to OBS Studio, we're going to talk through how this works in detail. So here we go. Okay, so OBS Studio is a freeware piece of software. It's quite powerful, but it does have a few bugs and quirks which we need to advise you of as we go along. So I'm just recording the screen here so that we can see what's happening. If you download OBS yourself at home, then it opens in this mode, but we're always using it in studio mode down the bottom here. So that we get these 2 large windows at the top. The one on the right is called the program window, and this is what's going out, either what's being streamed or what's being recorded. I've set this up so that when we start the service we press start streaming and it will automatically, there we are, start recording. At the end of the service, stop streaming, and you have to manually stop recording. For some reason it doesn't do that simultaneously, but starting they'll both go together. So that's how we stream and record, and this is what's being sent out. Now this is then fed, we're going to go around anti-clockwise to explain this program. So that's the program, that's what's being recorded and sent out to YouTube. We have transitions in the middle, and that will cut or fade the next scene into the program. The scenes show in the preview window on the left hand side, so this is what's next up, and at the moment I've got the same thing as next up, so let me just select something else. There we are. So that's the next one that I want to fade to, and if I press fade, lo and behold, that now becomes the output to the program, and we can fade again to toggle between the two sources. So it's very simple. I always use fade. I think cut's a little bit abrupt, and this 300 millisecond fade is just a nice little transition. I don't use any other fancy transitions. There are others, but it all goes a little bit 1980s PowerPoint if you do that, or 1990s PowerPoint. Okay, so the preview is showing what's next up, and the preview comprises scenes. We're carrying on working around anti-clockwise, and these are the scenes. I've set up black, which is entirely empty, and that's just useful right at the beginning, so that when we fade into the first scene, we're fading from black rather than from some existing picture. Then we've got intro, which is an introduction video. Let me just put fade, let me put the black screen on the program, cue up the intro video. You can't see that that's a video, but trust me, it is. It's getting its source from here. We'll talk about sources in a moment. If we fade to that, lo and behold, the intro video plays. And then when we're ready, we'll cue up the front camera, and I will wave to the people at the front, and I'll fade to them, and they're live, and we go live now. Okay? And then they're talking away on the front camera. If they then want to cut to somebody doing a Bible reading on this lectern microphone at the back, I've set up a separate scene which zooms in. It's using the same camera, it's just that it's zoomed in. Okay? The rear camera is this one. Ah, look, there's a bug. See, it hasn't found the rear camera. This is very common. This seems to happen all the time. It's most annoying. What you have to do is close OBS and then reopen it, and lo and behold, it's now found the rear camera. So now we've got a choice of 3 different camera shots: front, lectern zoom, and rear camera, and we can simply fade between the ones that we select to queue up as and when required. I wouldn't jump around between camera shots too often, but it's nice just to add a little bit of variety to what's going on. The next scene down is screen 2 capture, and that's a capture of the middle screen. If I just, with the camera, it's this screen over here is being captured on the screen 2 capture. And that may be useful because you might want to, for instance, open up a PowerPoint and have a PowerPoint ready for a reading, for instance. And then with the screen capture, we can go live with the PowerPoint, fade to the screen capture, and then control PowerPoint as normal. So that's one way of getting pictures and PowerPoint and what have you in, is using this screen 2 capture. What other scenes have we got? We've then got some media files, and you're going to need to set these up each week depending on what songs we're singing for the service and what the Bible reading is. I'm going to delete some of the old ones that we're not using, and then I'm going to show you how to set them up again. Okay, so I'm just deleting by using this little minus button. Be very careful that you don't accidentally delete one of the cameras, because that takes quite a lot of setting up, as we'll talk about in a moment when we talk about sources. But for now, let's say that we're ready to add a new song. So the songs this week, we open with Praise My Soul, the King of Heaven. So I press add because I want to create a new scene, and it's Praise My Soul. Okay, and then I need to tell it what that is. It's a video source, so we need to add a source plus media source, and we need to give that a name, but slightly buggy thing, it can't be the same name. I'll call it Praise My Soul Vid. Okay, that, and then we want to browse. I've put all the songs on the desktop in a folder called CGBC Lockdown Worship Songs. If there are new songs, then they can be added to that folder or added wherever you like. It doesn't matter. But let's scroll through here and find Praise My Soul. open that, OK, and it has imported it, but this is the next bug with this program. It's imported it as a tiny red dot in the left-hand corner, and I can't stretch that by dragging the dot. It just disappears. So what I need to do is come down here, and you have to do this for every video that you import. It's a really annoying bug, but there we go. Right click, transform, stretch to screen, and lo and behold, it's now full screen. There's no easy way of previewing a video in this program either. You just have to check that it works by actually doing it live. So we'll fade to it and we'll send it to the program, and lo and behold, there it is. The video is playing, I assure you, because people are appearing and words are appearing. And in fact, I can see the sound down here, but I can't hear anything. And that's the next bug, is it defaults to not sending it to the output. It's not really a bug, it's just the way that we're configuring it. So we need to hear it. So we need to press on this wheel down here under the video that's playing, advanced audio properties, monitor and output rather than monitor off. And lo and behold, we can hear it. Do not accidentally adjust this one for the desktop audio. That should remain muted throughout. Otherwise you get a ghosting double recording, which is very annoying. Just going to fade to another camera, and that's the end of that song. We'll fade back to the camera and they can carry on talking. Okay, so we have to do that each time. Let's just walk through that again because it's a little bit confusing. There are a few buggy steps. So we're going to add the next song. Well, actually that's What a Beautiful Name. Add What a Beaut. Okay. Add the source. It's a media source. Beaut name vid. Okay. Browse. It's now remembered where the folder was. Last time I had to point it to the folder on the desktop. This time it's remembered. What a beautiful name. Let's scroll all the way down. What a beautiful name. Okay. Okay. Again, it's just appeared as a red dot. So we right click, transform, stretch to screen. We'll get it going and we'll find the audio, advanced audio properties, monitor and output, and now we can hear it. So you see, we need to set these up before the service. You can't do that on the fly or you're going to have this problem with the sound not coming out and it's going to cut in halfway through. So they've got to all be set up and ready to go. Now that it is there, it will remember it. So now when I fade it, see, the sound's automatically there. I don't need to do anything on the fly. I just need to select it as the next scene and it'll fade in nice and tidily. All right, back to a camera. Similarly with a Bible reading, I'm going to show you two methods of importing a Bible reading. One that's really simple and one that's a little bit more complicated. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to first of all just add a Bible reading that we've prepared beforehand along with the text, and we've built the video. So Bible reading 1. And this is just exactly the same as we did before. It's a media source, Bible read 1 vid. Okay, browse. This time I've copied it onto the desktop with my memory stick, and it's in this week's folder. And there's the reading video complete. Open that. Okay, go through exactly the same rigmarole. Right click, transform, stretch to screen, get it playing, find the audio, advanced audio properties, monitor and output. Missed it. There we go. Oh, I did the wrong one. That's easily done. Monitor and output. Make sure that the desktop remains muted. Lo and behold, we can hear him. Job done. We'll fade back to the camera. I know that it's ready. So that's all done. That's the very simple way with a pre-made video. But sometimes all you've got as a video is the person talking recorded on their iPhone, and you want to overlay that onto some words. You can import words, you can put text into OBS directly, but it's not very neat and tidy. I would prefer using PowerPoint. So if we come over to this screen, that's what I set up here. I set up the Bible reading and I've left space here for a video to go in. When I save the PowerPoint, I'll save it as a PowerPoint and then I'll save it again as a series of JPEGs. Don't know if you know that, but you can save PowerPoint as JPEG. And when we say save, it'll say, do I want to do all the slides or just the first one? Yeah, I want all the slides. And there we are, that's output all of them into a new folder. And then we can come back to OBS Studio and we're going to set up a different way of doing the Bible reading. So we're going to set up Bible Reading 2. New scene, Bible Read 2, okay. And now the sources for this are going to be a bit more complicated. We're going to add, first of all, those JPEGs, and they're an image, not an image slideshow, an image. We're going to add each one, read 01, okay, browse. And now I did actually save that in PowerPoint into this folder. So it's this one, there we are, slide 1, okay, okay. For some reason JPEGs, it automatically stretches to screen, so that's fine. It's just the videos where we had that problem. I then want the next slide, add, image, read 02, okay, browse, next slide, okay, okay. And then there's one more slide to go, add, image, read 03, okay, browse, third slide, open, okay, okay, but they're in the wrong order, 1, 2 and 3. If we went live to that, we're going to see the top slide. So with the sources, it always shows the top one first, overlaying the second one, overlaying the third one. So we just change the order with these buttons down here. We'll bring 1 up first, 2 up next, and then 3. Now when I fade to that, there we are, we've got the first slide. We then need to come back to here and then rearrange the order so that number 2 can be ready to show next. And when the reading gets to that point, we can fade to slide 2. Let's just go back. Let's put number 1 up, fade, because what I haven't put is the talking head. I left space for him, but I need to import him. And we're going to stay on the same scene, Bible Reading 2. We've got the JPEGs, and what we want to add is a video. So it's a media source. This is what the Bible reader sent me on his iPhone. So I'm just going to put iPhone reading, or whatever I want to call it. Browse. Where did I save that? I did save it in the 23rd. It's actually this. Ignore the fact it's got a funny colour on it. That is actually the video. Open that. Okay. It's a video, so it's just appeared as a red dot. So I want to right click, transform, stretch to screen. But look, now you'll have noticed that the what I was trying to import was not actually that shape, so we need to just resize it so that it looks roughly like I'm expecting the iPhone video to look, and I'll position it in this nice space here, and then we can check what that looks like. Of course we're not going to hear anything because I haven't brought the sound up yet, but let's just get it going. And then we'll advanced audio properties and we'll monitor and output, and lo and behold, there we go. So it's going live. If this was in the middle of the service, I'd then want to bring the second slide up, ready to go in the preview reading. If we listen to him, he'll get to the end of this. I don't know if you can hear that very easily.
Thomas said to him, "Look, we don't know where you're going."
Ready to fade. Fade.
Jesus answered,
Nice and slick. And then we want the third slide. We'll bring that up. Ready to go. We wait till he gets to the end.
"If you really know me, you will know my Father as well."
Let's just pretend that he has got there, because we don't need to go through the whole thing, and we'd fade to slide 3 and away we go. The video is just playing overlaid because it's on the top of the scenes, so that will continue through. I'm just changing the background. So that's the second way of doing a Bible reading. Either So the first one was we had a pre-recorded video. The second one is we were importing JPEGs from PowerPoint.
Don't you believe that I am the Father?
Okay, let's go back to a camera. All right. There we go, front camera and rear camera ready to toggle between the two or whatever. I want to talk about the sources next. We've spoken about that a little bit as we've gone along, but it maybe hasn't been brilliantly clear. So let me just go back through some of these. As I say, the black screen has no sources, that's just a black screen. The intro is just the video. The front camera has a number of sources. It's got a logo in the top left-hand corner. But if I make sure I'm selecting the logo, I can move that around. I don't want to do that. I'll leave it snapped so that it's full screen. It's basically just it's a PNG file with a transparent background. So that's why we can see through that logo to the camera behind it. But because this is a source that we want to be able to hear people as well, it's also got the 4 sound inputs. Let me just show you on the desk that we're accepting sound from lectern mic, lapel mic, and baptistry mic. Okay, and when we've got people in the room, we'll want to be able to hear the microphones, so we'll need to unmute the speech group and we'll need to have the master fader up a little bit, but not so much that we're creating feedback. So that's going to be a little bit challenging because we've got a more empty room with a lot of hard reflective surfaces and got our nice soft chairs to absorb the sound anymore. All right, so those 4 sources need to be present for each of the cameras so that when we're filming somebody we can hear them talking as well. So you'll see that they're all on here. I've also set up screen 2 capture, so the capture of this screen, if we were using this for a PowerPoint during someone's sermon or whatever, we're still going to want to be able to hear them. So again, we have to have the microphones. All right. But when we have a video playing for a song, we don't need to hear the microphones. We're not trying to hear anything other than just the video, so we haven't got the audio source. That means you can talk away as much as you like while the song's playing and it won't come out on the recording or on the live stream. All right, so the audio mixer just shows us all of our audio sources. The webcams, some of them have a microphone in them, so they need to remain muted. We're not using that as a source. Desktop audio, very important that remains muted so that we don't get that ghosting double recording. But the baptistry mic is just a fill-in, so we're having a little bit of level from there. The lapel mic, we want a nice healthy level there for 1 and 2, and I've just adjusted the levels because one was coming out a little bit louder than the other. And the lectern mic, similarly when someone's talking at the lectern. Really and truly with mixing these, when you're setting it up before the service, just check each of the microphones with the people in position and check that it's a nice healthy level in this yellow zone. If it's only down here, it's too quiet. If it's always right up the end here, it might be too loud. You're aiming for it to be nicely in the yellow zone for each of these sources when they're being spoken into. Okay, so that's the audio. Okay, so now we're going to just finally talk about actually driving a service. So I'm going to be ready with my black screen first of all and my intro ready to play. I'm going to start streaming, which automatically starts recording. Everyone's here, we're all ready to go. Start streaming, fade with our intro.
Croxley Green Baptist Church, remote worship service.
Getting ready to go with the front camera. I'm waving to the people at the front. I'm saying you're on, fade, and away they go. They start talking. They'll do all the introductions. They might then say we're going to sing our first hymn, which is Praise My Soul. So I just cue that up down here, Praise My Soul. And here we go, fade to that. And it gets to the end of that hymn and we might be going straight to the Bible reading or something, say, that's happening on the lectern microphone. So I cue that up as the scene. Song's finished. We're ready to go back to the lectern microphone. And then they're going to go back to the front microphone. We might decide that we want to just throw in a picture of the whole church and the congregation at some stage, but as I say, we're not jumping between these things too frenetically, just now and again. Next song, or say it's the Bible reading next, I would fade to that, and away we go, and back to front camera, and then we come to the end of the service, and we've got this outro video, so we just fade to the end of the service. Thank you very much for joining us. Do join us for coffee over Zoom. Fade. Let that play right to the end, so it's got a nice, neat, tidy ending. And when it's got to the end, we're going to stop streaming and stop recording. Job done. Stop streaming, stop recording. That's it. You've successfully recorded a whole service and streamed it out, and your career in television awaits you. We can close that program now, and we can come on to, because our job unfortunately is not quite finished, what we're next going to do is to burn some CDs and a DVD for the people that are stuck at home. Okay, so we've recorded the service. And now what we want to do is to burn some CDs and DVDs. The first thing to say is, where does the recording go? And I've set it by default to send the recording to a folder on the desktop, this one here, OBS recordings. If we open that up, it opened on the other screen over here actually, so I'll just drag that across so that we're only filming one screen. That gets a little bit easier. There we go. There's a load of different recordings because I've been mucking around this morning. I've done various test recordings. The latest one is the last one here, so that's the one that we want. In fact, I could delete some of these earlier ones if I want to, and just tidy it up. But so that's the one that we want. Okay, we want to first of all send that to CDs. So that's a video file. It's an MP4 video file, and I can't burn an audio CD from that, so I need to convert it. And we're going to use this program here, HD Video Converter. If you're someone that likes the Start button, I've copied the main programs that you need over here onto the Start button, so you could open it from there as well. But I'm a desktop person, so I like to open it from the desktop. And this converter program will enable us to convert that video file to an audio file suitable for audio CD. Okay, so we're asking it to convert, so we're going to press on converter, and we can just drag the file in. So that's my recording. I'll drag and drop. There we are, ready to go. Now, with this program, you've got various options. We could convert it to a different video file. We could convert it to a MOV or whatever. We're not going to do that. We want an audio file, and we want a WAV, this first one here. Unfortunately, that's not quite enough. We need one other thing to tell it, which is that we're going to burn that to CD. So we want the sample rate to be 44,100 hertz, 44.1 kilohertz, not the default of 48 kilohertz. If you burn it as 48 kilohertz, it won't play in a CD player. 44.1. Okay. Now it's ready to convert. We'll get it going. It's very quick, because it was only a very short video. If it's a full service, it'll take a little bit longer than that, but it's still pretty quick. We can open the folder in order to find, that's the one that I've just burnt. Again, these were ones where I was mucking around earlier. Let's just delete the old ones. That's the latest one. And I'm ready to burn that to CD. Okay? So what I next need to do is I need to open Windows Media Player. And again, that's on the Start menu, or it's on the desktop, or you can just search in the box here for Media Player. You want Windows Media Player, not VLC Media Player. Sorry, my camera's moved. We want to burn, not play, so we'll come to the Burn tab, and that's the WAV file that I've just converted. I'm going to drag that over to the burn list, and it's in there. And I just want to tell it that I want to burn that as an audio CD. Make sure it hasn't gone back to data CD. We want audio CD. Okay, and then we can start burn. We can put a blank CD in the drive. Well, you can't see that very easy because it's very dark, but yeah, a blank CD in the drive. There's the blank CDs, that big stack of cakes there. That's the blank DVDs. So just take one of those, stick it in the drive, press start burn, and away you go. If you want to be really careful, after the first one's burnt, you can check it on the actual CD player here that it's actually worked okay, and before you carry on burning the rest of them. We're normally burning 9 CDs and 1 DVD. Once we've burnt them all, we can then close that. I don't really need the audio file anymore, but I might decide to save that just in case. Would be sensible perhaps to rename it. So let's just do that. So I renamed it 23rd of August for the CD, and I'll just save a copy of that in the resource folder for this week, just in case we want to go back to that at any point in the future. I can close that, I can close that. And then our next job is to burn a DVD. So we've still got the output from the OBS recordings, yeah, in this folder here, that's what this is. And we want to burn that to a DVD. For that, we're going to use another piece of software, which again is on the Start menu, Honest Tech VHS to DVD, or it's on the desktop there. Double click that to open it. That should open in the last used settings. There we go. I've got this template, which is just a little background image, and it says CGBC video, and that's the actual video. So when you put it in your DVD player, you'll just click on that and away you go. But that's last week's video, so I don't want that. So I need to select that and delete it. And you think, I've deleted everything, but in actual fact it hasn't. If we then open up the recordings folder and we find this week's recording, which is actually this one, drag it over to this right hand side and then drag it into the DVD to be burnt, lo and behold, our template comes back. The only thing that I'd change on that is I'd double click on this text. Let's make that white so it's a bit clearer, and let's give it a real name. 23rd August 2020. There we go. Ooh, capital A would be nice, wouldn't it? 23rd of August 2020. And away we go. It's as simple as that. Burn is this fiery thing down here. Burn the video, job done. Really is as simple as that. We can then close that program. It'll say, do you want to save it? Well, you might as well, just so that it always opens up with last week's. When we reopen it, there we go. That's last week's. That's the week before. I can delete that, move it to the recycle bin. I can delete that, move it to the recycle bin. I can just bring in the next recording that I want. Boom, 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 boom. There we are, we're back where we were, and then that would be the 30th of August, won't it? 30th of August, and away we go. Okay, thanks very much for watching. I'm sorry that's quite long. There's quite a lot to go through, isn't there? But we've basically covered how to start everything up, how to import the resources that we want for each particular week, and then how to navigate the system so that we're showing the scenes that we want to show. And then how to create the CDs and the DVDs at the end. It is quite a lot of work. I think realistically, you're talking a minimum of half an hour to an hour to set everything up before the service starts. Then you've got the service, and then probably another half an hour to maybe an hour to burn the CDs and DVDs, convert it to a WAV file, burn the CDs, burn the DVDs. You know, it's going to take a little bit of time. There are ways of breaking that up, of course. You can do all the preparation work before you turn up on a Sunday, providing the people leading the service and preaching have sent you all the resources that they want to use, and you know what songs you're using. Then you could come along on a Friday evening or a Saturday and set everything up so that you're ready to go on the Sunday. And similarly, I don't think the CDs and the DVD necessarily need to go out straight after the service. So you might decide, have a bit of a break, go and have your Sunday lunch, come back and burn the CDs and DVD in the afternoon perhaps. It's entirely up to you. I'm really grateful to you all for stepping up and to volunteering to help out in this way. If there's anything that's unclear, do give me a shout. I am around on email, and hopefully I can clarify anything that I haven't made abundantly clear. Thanks very much indeed. Bye.